All right, friends, here we are again, and today's review is not one that I expected to be doing from my studio because, well, I'm supposed to be out camping today, but a few days ago, some bonehead decided to wipe all 8 of my servers, wipe out all 4 of my companies, and we are in pickup and reorganize mode as we speak right now. Yeah, they literally deleted 8 of my servers, 2 of my backups, and made an absolute mess. So we're leading a handful of investigations that are taking place right now, and unfortunately, this 3-month review on this here rocket stove is not going to take place out in the Big Bear as I originally had it scheduled. So instead, not the end of the world, we're going to do that here. And yeah, I'm sure you'll get the same message. Either way, this is one of those, you may recall 3 months back, I have a little soot in my hands. 3 months back, I did cooking some fancy burger. It was like a Trader Joe's burger, which ended up being pretty awesome with this thing. And that was really my first time getting out and playing around with this thing. But in that video, I shared with you, historically, I've tested a lot of rocket stoves. I personally have never really cared for them because they've always seemed more novelty or more of a pain in the rear end to keep the things lit, get a good heat off of it, enough to make it worth your while to cook something of significance on it. This one right here, and this is made by Summit Stove, so these are made right here in the United States, so every time you go picking up one of these things here, it's supporting jobs right here in the United States. I like to point that out. Just like this campfire mat that I'm putting this on to protect, because this thing is very used and there's soot and all sorts of stuff that are inside this thing, and I want to protect my desk and not make a mess. But anyway, this thing right here is something that really caught me off guard because over the last 3 months, I have been using this stove almost exclusively every time I'm going or that I'm heading out, and it is fun. It's fun to cook on, and as you're going to find out here in a moment, it is designed to make you or allow you to be able to cook utilizing wood or charcoal, so without interfering what you have on the stove itself. Actually, what I'm going to do here first, rather than spewing out all the details about this thing, I'm going to show you how easy this thing is to put together. So, and I have this camera right here. Let's get this out so you can see. And I didn't wipe it off. This thing, I just took it out of my truck for this here. And I'm going to talk to you a moment about this cast iron griddle, which was recommended to me by a buddy of mine to use with this here. And I got this off of Amazon. I forgot what I paid for it, but this thing is absolutely awesome for this grill. But you can see this thing has some use on it. It's really not that big. When this thing's all folded up, it's like 4 inches by 4 inches by 17 or something like that. And weight-wise, it is very reasonable for something like this. But this thing is freaking awesome. But anyways, to undo this, you have this latch back here. All you do is you pop this thing up, boom, and this is where Alex is going to get a little dirty here. Let's do this here. I brought these gloves in here. I'm like, no, I won't wear them for the video, but I'm just realizing, again, when I say I use this thing, I use it a lot. So there is some soot in here, and that's going to save my hands from getting all mucked up here.
What did you say?
Yeah. I don't feel like getting soot all over my hands, so save it. I don't want to hear it.
He doesn't like to get his hands dirty.
All right, so this is the cool thing about the stove right here. Everything that you need, you can store right inside of this thing. So you can see you have, let me point this out here first. So on the bottom of this here, which is absolutely critical for a stove of this nature here, you have these thick kind of grills. It actually kind of looks cool right now. You know what? Let me share with you this. Take a look at that. And this is all because you have this heat oxidation or taking place. Oh, look at it right there from that color right there. That's actually cool right there. You can see the discoloration from the heating this up. It actually looks pretty cool. There's a fancy term for that, and I can't think of what the hell it is off the top of my head. But this thing is really, really well put together. And honestly, I can't remember whether it came with a bag or not, but one thing it did come with here, and the reason why I bring that up is because, as you can see, it's dirty, it's scratched up, and that's for a reason. I constantly throw that in the back of my truck. Matter of fact, it took me a minute to find this thing because I keep my truck loaded with all my gear back there. But this thing it goes rolling around on the matte finish that I have in my truck. And one of the cool things that they came with, which I'll talk about this here in a minute, is this here. And while I am jibber-jabbering about anything else, why don't you leave a comment down below what you think this is. I'll hold it up right here. What do you think that is? Anyways, so this thing is extremely heavy duty. It's made out of 304 stainless steel, which isn't just incredibly durable, it's also really easy to clean, which is ironic because this thing is filthy because it is. I just leave it as it is. But anyway, when you get to location, you have a couple of these things right here, and you have a set for on top. And it's funny, you can see which ones I use on the bottom because the ones on the bottom are a lot cleaner than the top. That's it. You just slide it into one or into them together right there, and you plop this right on top. And as you can see already, that is crazy sturdy. And then you're going to take, again, let me just, you have these slots right there, and you just plop that in there. And you're just going to put this up on the top there, and boom.
It's that easy.
You have these up on top, on the bottom, and again, it is absolutely insanely easy to use. And then all you do is you're loading your wood or your charcoal in through this little feeder right here, and obviously gravity does the rest, brings it down in there, and then you have these flames that are shooting up through the center of this thing. So here's the thing. Knowing my history with rocket stoves, I decided to put this review off for, actually it turns out to be a few months, mainly because I really wanted to see, because I always say rocket stoves are novelty. It's they're fun, they're cute, and I wanted to see if I was going to grow tired of this thing. The survey says! And man, I can tell you, I absolutely, again, you can actually see, I mean, right here, this thing gets used a lot. And I absolutely love it. Cooking burger steaks on this grill right here, this cast iron grill right here, which is pretty stinking awesome. Let's see if, okay. Let me see, show you guys here. So this thing, I forgot what I paid for on Amazon. Oops, and somebody hasn't washed it since last time. But anyways, so you plot this up here. So as you can see, that is absolutely made perfect for this right here. It's not made for it, but it just happens to fit really nicely. So if you do decide to pick up one of these rocket stoves here, which I would highly encourage you, what I will do is I will put a link down below to this griddle as well. So you actually have two sides of it that you can tool around as well. So back on topic of this thing, did you figure out what this was for? Well, it does say mayo on there, and while some of the eagle eye folks out there might have picked up on that, or many of you may be saying, well, Alex, that's for pushing down your fuel, whether the wood or charcoal that you have there, which is a good answer as well. But look if you take a closer look at this thing right here, if you look at the curvature and the little grooves on the end there, and of course mayo, yeah, this thing's designed to go into a mayonnaise jar, or in my case, what I use it for is peanut butter.
Oh yeah, I love peanut butter.
It gets all the absolute awesomeness out of that container. So that thing is stinking cool. But like I've said many times over, it's the small things when companies decide to get creative with the little items that they're putting in with their products and so forth. It's like that, I keep saying over and over again, the chocolate at a nice turn down service. I feel I say that often, but that is a good thing. That means companies are getting off their asses and bringing some cool little things to market and so forth. But anyways, going back to this here, I absolutely love this stove. And the cool thing about this thing as well, it is absolutely insanely easy to to use as well. I put a couple fire starters in there, or if I don't have a fire starter, I have my propane little torch thing. Put some twigs in there. What I'll usually do is we get out to location, send Caleb, my son, off into the woods or around to pick up all the pieces of wood. Don't need to be big, just little tiny twigs. They're all over the ground already, which make it crazy easy to find fuel to use this thing to burn and so forth. 5 minutes of him running out into the woods, you're getting more than plenty of what you need to cook a meal on this thing. So you put it in there, light it up.
Have liftoff.
Now the dual fuel design is fantastic, which not only makes the stove really ideal for cooking absolutely tasty food over wood or charcoal, but you don't have to go lugging around a bunch of propane bottles as well. Now, as I mentioned, this thing is really built to last. Again, it's out of 304 stainless steel, which, man, it looks cool. You know, it's funny, as this thing gets more experience and use out there, more this coloration that I was speaking about earlier takes place on this thing. And in terms of cleaning this thing, it doesn't get easier. You know, generally what I do is I will let the thing cool down overnight, and I just pick it up, dump it out. In a lot of cases, the ashes have already fallen out of the bottom in those the little grills that I showed you earlier. Now, really, at the end of the day, this thing is really convenient for all sorts of outdoor adventures. You know, obviously the camping, boating, tailgating, or pretty much whatever you want, where you want a small footprint that's going to contain the fire inside of it and is easy to cook. Again, as you saw me a moment ago, this thing is a breeze to set up. It only takes about 60 seconds and so forth. And which I think I mentioned the size array is about 4 inches by 4 inches by 17. So it packs down really small. Again, putting this thing away kind of goes backwards of what you just saw there. Take the feet off, take that off. I'm going to close that right here. Boom, boom, boom. And that is that. You stuff those things right inside. Get your little latch. Boom, just like that. Oh, and it weighs about 22 pounds. So again, weight-wise, this thing is very manageable. And as you can see there, it doesn't take up much room at all. I usually stick it on the wheel well in the back of my vehicle, right next to a couple bags that I have back there. But anyway, Summit Stove, this thing is absolutely awesome. So again, 3 months playing around with it, and I absolutely love it. So you'll be certainly seeing more of this in the future as well. It's just unfortunate that this weekend, man, I really wanted to be out camping and so forth. My son was really not happy about this, but he certainly understands that I have my hands full with what has taken place. But at any rate, folks, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put links down below where you can go pick up one of these yourself, or if you have any questions regarding these sort of rocket stoves, this particular brand right here, which to date, this is the only one that I actually really like. But I have tested quite a number of others, and so either way, if you have questions about rocket stoves or this one that I've not covered with this, leave a comment down below or send me a message, whatever's convenient for you, and I'll be happy to answer whatever questions you have. But friends, that is all I have, so I'm going to be shutting off the cameras, and I will see you in the next video.